Here's a question that's making church leaders uncomfortable. After years of meetings, reports, and listening sessions, has anything actually gotten better? A bishop just asked the Pope that exact question directly in writing. Let's go through what he said. Bishop Robert Mutsaerts, an auxiliary bishop in the Netherlands, published an open letter to Pope Leo XIV on August 13th. He begins by making clear he remains faithful to the Pope and the authority of his office. But then, he raises a pointed concern about the Synod on Synodality, a major multi-year process involving thousands of bishops, priests, religious, and laypeople around the world, focused heavily on listening and dialogue. Mutsaerts acknowledges that, on paper, the Synod looks successful. There was listening. There was discussion. New vocabulary emerged, words like synodality, discernment, and participation. But he asks a much harder question. Did any of it actually work? Not how many meetings happened, but whether faith has grown stronger. Whether more people have experienced conversion. Whether churches are fuller on Sundays. Whether priestly vocations have increased. Whether the teaching of the Church has become clearer to ordinary Catholics. His honest answer is no, at least not yet, based on what he's observed. The bishop makes an important theological point here. He explains that historically, synods were always meant to be a tool, a means toward one goal, the salvation of souls, not a permanent, ongoing process valuable in itself. He also emphasizes something central to Catholic teaching, that the Church's truths were not invented through group discussion, but received directly from Christ and passed down faithfully through the apostles. He goes on to stress that truth in the Catholic Church isn't decided by majority opinion. Even if a large percentage of Catholics stop believing in a core teaching, he explains, that wouldn't make the teaching any less true. This reflects a long-standing Catholic principle, that faith is something received and safeguarded, not something reshaped based on changing public opinion. Mutsaerts also raises concern that recent church conversations have focused more on simply affirming people's personal experiences, rather than calling them toward repentance and spiritual growth. He points out that Jesus' first public words weren't an invitation to share feelings about church structures, but a direct call to repentance and faith. He highlights how history's greatest saints, from St. Peter and St. Paul, to St. Francis Xavier and St. John Paul II, were known for boldly proclaiming Christ, not primarily organizing listening sessions. This concern echoes broader criticism heard elsewhere in the Church recently, including from Cardinal Raymond Burke, who has also publicly called for the entire synodal process to be paused and seriously reevaluated. Despite these strong concerns, Bishop Mutsaerts closes his letter with genuine hope and respect. He prays that Pope Leo's papacy will bring clarity during a time of widespread confusion, encouraging the Holy Father to refocus the Church's mission on Christ, conversion, holiness, and the Eucharist, rather than ongoing institutional processes. He ends with a simple but powerful reflection, that long after every meeting has ended and every document has been written, the only question that will really matter is this: did we bring people closer to Jesus Christ? So here's something worth sitting with. Can a church truly move forward simply by listening more, or does it also need clear, confident proclamation of truth? Share your honest thoughts below. This is exactly the kind of conversation the whole church needs to be having right now.